Hector had an aura. Whether we go eat hot dogs at the Chihuahua stand here on Port Avenue, or we go eat Chicken Shack, used to be on Leopard, we'd love to have gizzards, or whether we walk into the Lupus Bar and Grill in Midland, Texas, or Lubbock, you know that he was somebody, and he was always generate somebody around him. So there was never a boring moment, because there was always something to do, and there was somebody around you.
He didn't discriminate. He had blacks, Anglos, mostly the veterans that had come from the World War that were complaining that they weren't getting their checks, they weren't given the proper treatment in the hospitals, they were discriminated in going to schools, they weren't allowed to do many things, and of course they had just served our country, so that fired him up. That was I think that brought it on more than anything, all the inhumanities that were vested upon our people at that time, the Mexican Americans and the other veterans.
I think he was so involved with such important things going on in the country and his life. I think he wanted his children to have as normal a life as possible and as simple as possible, because we were so subject to a lot of the hatred towards him in school, and people were just mean to us, and they could not understand what he was doing.
Hernandez versus Texas was the first case that went up to the United States Supreme Court, and Hector found that case, pushed it, got the lawyers involved. The man named Hernandez was indicted for murder in Jackson County in Etna, Texas. And the problem with that was that they had signs in the bathrooms, everywhere was that, no Mexicans here. They raised money for them, had a lot of tamaladas, raised the funds, and they took the case straight from the Court of Criminal Appeals in Texas to the United States Supreme Court. The United States Supreme Court ruled this case maybe about 4 months before Brown versus Board of Education. And it held, 1954, that separation of Mexican Americans, for whatever purpose, was unlawful. And man, that did it.
It just fitted perfectly at that particular time. He was put there at the right time when he was very much needed. And because of his high education and his kindness, people would approach him for so many things, It was his openness and his great heart towards people. It didn't matter who it was.
I think research his life and what he did and realize all the things he did, how it impacts you today. Not just because you're Hispanic. I think anyone that lives today can look at what he did and go, his accomplishments were important to my life today.
He loved this country so much that, all of these things that he went through to get some of the things he accomplished. I mean, he did it without riots and, causing problems. I mean, he did it the right way. He knew the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, like she has said, backwards and forward. That he knew what it meant, stood for, and he knew that it meant that everyone should be treated with equal rights and everyone should have the same opportunity. And it wasn't happening, and he did whatever he needed to do to see that it did happen.
Times have changed. I know they've changed, and we all work to something else. But I look at the picture, and I say, God, people don't know how great they have it today because of people like Hector. Because he worked out of only one thing, puro corazón, all heart, because he believed in it. No other reason. Where the people like that come from, I don't know. He just took care of this cause.